when trees tremble and leaves turn to bright, and fall to the ground in this month of fright. This time of year the weather turns to ice, and pilgrims seek refuge in paradise. A journey born in the heart of Apex, to travel to Costco, a place so complex, a holy house of superb drink and food. Without their arrival, they simply are screwed. To survive this winter, they need a safe place. With time running down, getting there is a race. Society orders the pilgrims by height, and these four men come hither when there's still light. A genius present with glasses and brains, a chef of great prowess cooking in his veins, a master of battle, a claimer of souls, and the best sports fan unparalleled in the polls. The rules are quite simple, they travel in peace, interrupting forbidden, one tale apiece. The tallest goes first and the shortest goes last. A Costco chicken bake is the prize forecast. He rose from the corner, a drink in his hand. Incredible height made his stature so grand. A learned man of the dark-skinned variety. His IQ of 170, a gift to society. 2 jewels of dark brown rested on his face. With those 2 he used to peruse the space. All he could do was analyze exteriors. As such, he thought everyone else inferiors. He challenged all he met to a battle of brain. In puzzles and games, he outclassed them with no strain. An unbridled ego made boastful and vain, this man with no stop to his intellect's train. His trip to Costco was for personal gain. To conquer this land would complete his reign. As the greatest academic in all lands, after he completed all the book stands. Boastful and prideful, that I may be, but I still speak morality for free. Come now, listen close, he beckoned everyone near, for I will now treat you to a gift of the ear. A breeze blew a fleeing flower in Madrid. Bulls chased red scarves and girls batted eyelids. Flowers to present to the ladies of fashion, to court them with gifts and a storm of passion. Of course there were those devoid of love and care. Pacing the street one night, one such man was there. Shifting, shuffling, this banker thought of how to rob the poor blind and sustain his cash cow. Scheme after scheme he devised to cheat and steal from those innocent souls with very few meals. Until at last, death came to collect this pitiful man of such little respect. Begging and pleading, he fought for his life. He even went so far as to draw a knife. Not accepting his inevitable fate, he attempted to argue past death's mandate.
Give me another chance. I can prove my worth. A game of 3 riddles to provide for rebirth.
To play against death was the intent of him. Death agreed with the smile so grim.
Removing my skin brings tears to your eyes. Answer what I am to spare your demise.
The old man pondered a moment or two, then answered with onion after his breakthrough.
I think you'll find me an unbeatable foe. 2 more riddles, and then I'll be free to go.
This taunt was issued for the riddle's weakness, but Death responded again with such sleekness.
The more I dry, the wetter I get. What am I now? You've not beaten me yet.
A rag, a towel, a washcloth.
He yelled. With another right answer, his ego swelled. Death laid 2 fingers on his chin and tapped. As he asked his last riddle, the old man sat rapt.
Left alone, I can swallow you whole. You can swallow me too, but with control. I'm the breaker of men and the builder of sin. In the deepest part of your heart, I'm the kingpin.
The man searched for the answer, but did not succeed, for he could not grasp the answers of pride and greed, such sins which he possessed so deeply. For gold and fame his soul sold so cheaply. A sorry sight to see his uncontrolled tears, as death at last confirmed his deepest fears.
An eternity in hell is what you've earned. Forever and ever you'll persist and burn. As greed and pride breed sinful living, for your earthly crimes I'm unforgiving.
With a snap of death's fingers, the man vanished from the mortal world, his soul forever banished.
The cook was a man of refined taste, any meal that relied on any base, and with all the great food that he would cook, he would often devour and didn't even look. The end of his fork is all that concerned him, His hair was brown, glowing a light not very dim, and similarly his eyes, which were dull and cloudy. His love for food made his vision muddy. The cook was very large, but not at all tall. The reason for that, his love for food above all. However much his vision was obscured, a delicacy of a meal he procured. A delicacy would be a meal cooked by him, but most of the meals he cooked were eaten all by him. A man with a stomach rounded in the earth, unmatched in his enormous girth. Once he tried his hand in a game to gain, not for a prize, his purpose was vain. He simply seeked to feast under pretense, the pretense of a competition, in a sense. He walked up to the table of registration. He said,
"I am the best in this nation. No one will beat me."
He cried and had boasted, confident that he could eat the most. He signed his name and a waiver. He is responsible for the outcome of this wager. The consumption of cupcakes, that was the sport, even though it could cut their lives in short. He was sat at a table so he could feast, all alone, but he could concentrate at least. A plate of food was given out, and water in case the food went down like sand. The announcer stood up and had to say,
"Try not to eat too fast or you'll be on your way."
and a countdown started from the count of 3, indicating that they could start to feed. And started they did, but none as fast as he. He came, he saw, he ate everything he could see. He was the fastest there by a large amount. The number he ate, far too much to surmount. One by one he ate and ate, so much they gave him a second plate. While everyone strained, the man simply enjoyed, as in front of him free food was deposited. Gradually he ate faster and faster, until he choked on the food upon his platter. And while he choked and gasped, fighting for air, nobody noticed or perhaps didn't care. As the living giant fell to the floor, everyone could tell you he just kept eating more. His sin too much for anyone to bear, now in hell and only rags he wear. His sin on earth was gluttony and greed, and now he pays for them. Of his body his soul is freed.
A man dressed in martial arts attire jumped from his feet, his eyes like fire. A darker look on his face would have caused mayhem. The fearsome man towered above them, a blade of steel attached to his hip, used to protect himself during his trip. The man's destination was Costco. He had to get there before the snow, to buy new deadly weapons and gear, to put in the heart of his enemies fear. At the end of a table, a frowning man sat, and upon this good cook he spat. He cockily grinned at the group, for in his mind they were all nincompoops. Your stories have no promise compared to mine. I will be the winner, for all I will outshine. When the city apex was just starting, and the Canadian geese departing, a gentleman departed on a walk, and he wished to have someone to talk. He approached his favorite white dogwood, but to his surprise, a young woman stood. The man approached the beautiful girl, and his unknown feelings were unfurled.
"Why do you stand here? I would like to know."
She said,
"It's the geese. I hate to see things go."
He stood with the woman, watching them leave. By the time it was night, his heart she had thieved. Each day he joined her at the place they had met. Together they felt they had nothing to fret. Always together, each other they cling. They'd fallen in love, sleep hold at a ring. They married that spring under the white dogwood. Soon she bore child, and all was good. The mother allowed her son to buy a treat. He went back to their tree, his food to eat, but was approached by a starving man who killed the boy for a handful of bran. Hours passed, and his parents began to dread, and their fears were confirmed when they found their son dead. For months on end, she mourned and she wept. The fact he was gone, she could not accept. But she came to peace with the tragedy, but to the father, it had more gravity. He kept on seeking his son's killer. Looking for revenge was his life's new pillar. Anger and hate stole away his care, and he forgot his wife, whose same burden she bare. There came a night where he took a strong drink, yet his wife still tried to make him rethink. Enraged, the man smote his wife upon the cheek. For the first time escaping her lips, a shriek. She fell against the floor, hitting her head. Blood split out, and alas, she was dead. Only now realizing what he had done, for the person he'd loved, she'd been the one. Instead of rage, he now drowned in sorrow. He had lost everything, so on the morrow, he went to the tree for the last time. His feet dangled in the breeze like a wind chime. The loss of his family left him unseeing. Revenge and anger had consumed his whole being.
Rising to his feet and stretching his hands, scarcely can one find a more passionate man. Raggedly unshaven and slightly short, unmatched in his knowledge of every sport. Ask any statistic, he knows them by heart. It's very unique, a different kind of smart. A superstitious man he has always been, stemming from his fervent desire to win. Wearing a pungent jersey covered in muck, never having washed it fearing bad luck. Time has turned him peevish and prickly. The stress of fandom can do that quite quickly. He's confident his team will never lose. Week after week, to victory they cruise. His brown eyes shine a blinding gleam, for he's headed to Costco, the ultimate dream. Listen up, he grumbled, quieting the room. When my tale's done, your action can resume. Although the genius may be wiser than I, trust me, you'll find this story does apply. Waves crash ashore under a blistering sun. It'll only get worse, for summer has just begun. Palm trees sway on beaches so sandy, and the streets buzz in this city of Miami. Home to a high school showered with fame, for their great football team has never lost a game. Expectations are of course high once again, for their star is returning, the greatest of men. Faster and stronger than any teammate, he's got God-given talents, there is no debate. Hand in hand with success comes popularity, growing and growing with extreme celerity. With fame comes danger, and he wasn't prepared for the temptations with which he would soon be shared. Ready to enjoy his senior year, he figured,
What's the harm in having a beer?
as the summer wore on, his cockiness grew, while none of his coaches had the slightest clue. Forgoing practice to party instead, ignoring the cries of his friend who pled.
It's time to start getting ready for the season.
He shook his head, ignoring their reason.
You may need practice as an inferior player, but I am known as the record slayer.
Such comments convinced the friend to leave his side, a contributing factor to the star's demise. Sleeping by day and partying by night, this train wreck of a man was an appalling sight. Summer was now over, and tryouts rolled around.
Finally,
He exclaimed.
I can't wait to throw down.
The team stretched, then ran lap after lap, and the star was in last by a very large gap. He stopped, confused and gasping for breath.
What happened?
He asked.
I used to be the best.
Unfortunately, this wouldn't be the low. He would also miss all of his throws.
Peanut butter pickle 27.
At the end of the day, he approached his locker, not knowing he was in for quite a shocker. The word cut was staring him straight in the face. Angrily, he approached the coach to plead his case.
Coach, this decision is unbearable. Without me, the team is truly terrible.
The coach replied, condescending in tone.
I will not listen to whine and moan. Your cockiness and laziness got in the way. You could have been the greatest to ever play.
His life had revolved around being cool. Now left with nothing, he dropped out of school. Homeless and alone, he lived his sad life. Sloth and gluttony brought him great strife.